with that, people who live in Dayton are able to get something called Ed Choice Scholarships, and they can send their children to a private school. So we are getting a lot of children that are coming to our schools, and so it is somewhat of a switch for a lot of the teachers that have been teaching. And with that said, a lot of basic needs aren't being met with our students. And when we saw that, we also knew that a social worker needed to be on staff. So we did hire a social worker to just look at basic needs: food, clothing, shelter, any of those, heat, anything that the parents need. So we do provide a lot of different services. I also created a program called Peacemakers, and I will say that it started in 2007, and several of the Peacemakers have attended the University of Dayton, and it's really fun to see that, although they're getting older, but I'm not, but it's fun to see them here on campus. And I really just promote leadership within the students, and a lot of them really don't feel like I'm assuming many of you had those roles growing up, and some of the schools didn't have those opportunities, so I've implemented them where now we have 65 Peacemakers, and they're actually coming to campus on December 14th. If you want to drop by the hangar between 12 and 1:30, there'll be bowling, and being amazed that there's a bowling alley on campus. I can tell you that. That's what we get every year. With that said, I just wanted to share a couple stories that we go through. I've been doing this for 26 years as far as counseling. My career has been in schools. The trauma that children have experienced or experiencing is alarming to me over the years. They are here, they're witnessing things, they're experiencing things that many of you will probably never experience your whole life. And they're 5 years old. I had a 5-year-old in the same home have his mom shoot his dad, kill his dad, and within 24 hours, he did not have any parents. Mom was in jail, and dad was gone. He had 5 siblings. They had to live with great-grandmother. We're seeing a lot of that. Grandmothers, great-grandmothers are taking care of him. I had a young man, he was 8th grade, come to my office and basically tell me, Miss Rhonda, my dad died this morning. He still came to school. He was found along a curb. They think a drug deal went bad. He was shot and pushed out of the car, found along the curb. These kids come to me and will even talk about the violence they're seeing in their neighborhoods, and it's right next door. And they're like, just tell me like it's normal, like it's everyday thing. Hey, my cousin got shot last night. Those types of things. Those are some of our real intense stories that we have. Up north, we've expanded because mental illness does not have boundaries. So now the suburban schools are calling us because the kids are experiencing overdose. Parents have overdosed on, with the opioid epidemic, we have a lot of our kids that have lost parents. One of our classrooms up north, 2 first graders within a week each of them lost a parent in one classroom. So these things are really happening, and we're really trying to provide support for these students. So we are greatly different, and it's because the Center for Catholic Education, we're able to do this for our local Catholic schools. In addition, we go out and provide professional development, like Susan was talking about, to our teachers, because they don't get a lot of training in mental illness when they're going through undergrad. So we help them understand what it looks like in the classroom and how they can serve these children better and to understand it. Instead of saying, what's wrong with you, you have to ask, what happened to you? And then once you find out their story, you'll look at that behavior totally different. And so we're really trying to have them really understand what's going on. I would like to share, I don't have a brochure because none of you can go provide counseling. However, if you are involved in any organizations, or even if any of you would like to participate, if you have an organization that wants to do any service projects, we'd be open to talk to see what would best serve you. Whether it's coming and just hanging with our Peacemakers, because they need to have mentors in their life, that would be great, and they love the college students, I can tell you that. Anything like that, if you know of any organizations that are trying to, we have a care closet in some of our schools where they can come and get any types of deodorant or just socks or whatever. We would love for anybody to take us on to get donations for a program, because we do have families that are in need of all of these things. Thank you very much. I won't spend 3 hours. Brian has to write a paper. But feel free to contact me outside of tonight if you have any questions or want to learn more about it. I kept it very brief.
Thanks. Yeah, one last commercial. We have a blog and we have a Facebook page. So if you want to know what we're doing, and as Rhonda suggested, if your organization might be interested, or if you have a friend that might be interested in Milan, I'm also on Facebook. I'm an old woman that I don't know how to use it. So thank you again for your time this evening. We really appreciate it very much. And spread the word that we're a good place to come. You can visit 6th floor, 652 Fitz Hall. If you ever want to come and visit and hang out, we have a nice lobby. Yeah, questions? Anybody? Thank you.
Thank you.
So
thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate it. And at this time, Lauren, can you please take the roll?
President Brodkin.
Here.
Vice President Shahalski. Present. Vice President Finance Rosani. Vice President Communications Pearson. Speaker Myers.
Present.
Chief of Staff Makata.
Present.
Chief of Staff Fisher. Chief of Staff Fogg. Sergeant Tobin. Are any chairs, excluding those who are directors, present? Director Smith-Custer. Director Haggerty.
Here.
Director Elmore. Director Savage.
Here.
Senator Petros. Here. Senator Blau.
In attendance.
Senator Jingles.
Here.
Senator Ojeda. Here. Senator Stewart. Senator Reeves. Senator Twatline.
Here.
Senator Hubert.
Here.
Senator Ward.
present.
Senator Schmidt.
Here.
Senator Silvas. Here. Senator Sundermeyer.
Present.
Senator Baeza. Senator Osterling.
Present.
Senator Twin.
Present.
Senator Kenney.
Present.
All right, thank you so much, Lauren. Are there any public comments this evening? Chris?
Hello, everyone. Just a couple reminders. One, we do not have Senate next Sunday because of Thanksgiving break, which means we have one Senate left. So keep that in mind as you are doing funding tonight, that we have one Senate meeting left, and that the deadline for students to have funding requests in for review on that Senate meeting is tomorrow. So do you know if we have any pending requests?
Four. We have two.
Okay, so two for next week or four for next week?
Two today, four for the
Okay, so we already have 4 requests pending for the following meeting, but we could get a few more tonight. Brian probably, or someone on his staff, has asked you to start thinking about reporting for the end of the semester. So make sure that you get that in. That really helps us when we try to put together the end of the year report. But it also helps us think about the spring retreat. So I know you're not supposed to have your phones out, but if you want to get your phone out and put this in your calendar, we expect everyone to be at our spring retreat on January 20th. So that's the first Sunday after classes start. And we will start at 9 or 10 a.m. and we'll go straight through that first Senate. We have a lot to cover. Also, we have most likely scheduled an event with Dr. Spina and Chief to follow up with our safety forum on December 5th. So if you're interested in that, it would be in the Adele Center. Okay, Brian will talk more about it. Yeah, so really excited about what we've done this semester. But make sure that we're keep moving to the end, even if we don't have Senate for a little bit.
Thanks, Chris. Any public comments or concerns? Seeing none, are there any SGA members giving reports this evening? Senator Savage, or Director Savage?
So our academic fair committee, I just want to kind of give an update what we've been working on this semester. So Rowan, he is the humanities representative for their school. He was working really hard to get a space basically for humanities majors to like collaborate and study. Because like, for example, the way the building's set up, there's just nowhere for people to come together and do stuff like that. So he worked with this Dr. Slade. He works in the English department there, and once a week, at least for the time being, they're gonna run Heritage Coffee House for a couple hours a night. Humanities majors are welcome to go there and study. So if you're a humanities major, even if you're not, just get the word out about that. I guess if you can. I'll get more details about the exact days, like what times. But that's something really cool. He was able to do it. Right now, we're gonna see how it goes. Like if not enough students are coming, then they might just not do it. But so for the time being, they will. After break, we're having a path event called Lead Academic Reps. So basically, we have from our committee, there's a rep from each school, and basically it'll be a way to engage, hear more concerns, and we're going to do little breakout groups and talk to students about their various schools on what they want to see from their school. And then we're also, for finals week, looking to order SGA stress balls, so I have to get on that soon. And then to pass out for students, and then we're also going to be passing out some type of food or beverage during that week as well for a couple different times. So to just hopefully help students de-stress a little bit. And then I think that's about it. So yeah, if you guys have any concerns from your prospective schools, like sure, just let me know, because we're always looking for feedback. It's kind of difficult in our role to like get real like legislation out to change anything, because it's like we're kind of our hands are tied to these university policies and stuff. So, but any feedback you can have, any way to make your schools better, just reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Director Savage. Are there any other SGA members giving reports this evening? Senator Silvas.
I just have a quick thing on behalf of the Mental Health Committee. So we organized a PATH event with Sarah DeWitt. She is the coordinator of health education and wellness on Tuesday the 27th. So we'll send that out after break. We just kind of wanted to give a heads up. So if you guys could promote that on social media, that'd be great.
Thank you so much. Any other reports this evening? All right, seeing none, moving into mine. First thing that I wanted to talk about, I know a lot of you guys were at the two events that we had this past week. Either the event with student advocates was really heavily attended. The sustainability event was not that heavily attended. Unfortunately, there was sort of a miscommunication with PATH and with ABA. Sorry, my voice is going, so bear with me. But that event was not PATH eligible. The good news is we did have people show up that were not in SGA, that really were just very passionate about sustainable initiatives on campus. That was an awesome event, so thank you to all of you who are on the Sustainability Committee. We are looking to repeat that event, hopefully early next semester, literally doing the exact same thing that we did, just making it PATH eligible so more people will show up. As Chris was mentioning earlier, the first sort of installment of that Campus Clarity series that we had a few weeks ago with a bunch of members of the administration, that was an awesome event. A lot of students came out to that. More importantly, the administration loved that event. So much so that they emailed Erica and I and asked us to do another one, like another Campus Clarity geared towards public safety before the end of the semester during the week. Instead of on the weekend, hopefully to get more students or a different type of student demographic out to those events. And that will be on December 5th. Tentatively, we will let you know if that date changes at all, but we're looking to, again, make it PATH eligible in Adele, which is a little bit larger of a space than Torch Lounge, and have that forum event with the administration to talk about public safety initiatives, and just making sure students on campus are safe. Speaking of that, Erica and I have reached out, and we are scheduling a meeting with Ted Bucaro, who is the Government Relations Director for the University of Dayton. And we are really going to try to push with the City of Dayton to expand campus safety jurisdiction, specifically making patrols more prevalent in the dark side and the far side neighborhoods, like near where fairgrounds are. We're also going to have talks with him and with Bill Fisher about increasing the lighting in that neighborhood, as we have experienced a little bit more of crime ticks in that area, and different types of crime in that area, rather than the crime that takes place in the South Student neighborhood. In addition to that, as far as like administrative updates, I know I sent out this week 2 Google Docs, one of which is ideas for how we want to reshape the office. If you guys have not been in there, it is like a mess this year. So this announcement is coming twofold. Clean up after yourselves if you're in there. I don't mean to call anyone out, but there was a piece of paper on the desk. It had Chinese words on it. Not calling anyone out, but we kind of narrowed it down who we thought that might be. Just clean up after yourself, please. We want it to be as productive of a space as possible. In addition, if you have any ideas for what you want to see in the new office, put it on that Google Doc. I know Ryan and Maddie have worked really hard at designing like an actual blueprint for that space, but it should be really exciting. We're looking to get moving on that soon. As Chris was mentioning also, please include your accomplishments. Work with the other senators or class reps from your grade level. Reach out to your committee, figure out what all you have done so we can adequately share success, right? That was one of our huge administrative goals for the year, was to share and publish our success. We can't do that, unfortunately. The exec team doesn't know all of the ins and outs of what your advocacy work looks like, of what the committees are doing. So please put that in that Google Doc. Last but not least, in terms of scholarships, Cindy was asking me questions earlier this week because I was not clear as I could have been. The way the scholarships work is every semester, the exec team has $2,000 to divvy amongst senators. So it's not like it's one $2,000 scholarship. It's a pool of $2,000 that we can distribute to various members. The only people that are ineligible to receive those funds are SGA members that are already getting scholarships. So apply, because you'll probably get money. Right now we only have 2 people that have actually applied for those scholarships, and it's really not that hard. It's literally your GPA, your resume, what you've done in SGA, and why you think you should get a scholarship. Erica, myself, and a few members of exec, as well as the advisors, will look those over, and we'll get back to you. And they apply for this current semester. So we'll have another round of scholarships at the end of next semester that will apply for next semester as well. Any questions about any of that? All right, that's all I got. Thanks, Go Flyers. Have a good Thanksgiving. Oh, wait, member of the week. Yeah, oh, man. Okay. So we have 3 members of the week this week. Lexi Silvis, Nick Osterling, and Jacob Trowell. We'll start with slide 1. All right, first is Lexi. As you guys can see from her report, she has been doing a great job. When Eric and I were at our meeting this week thinking about senators that have really just sort of stepped up this year, especially new senators, we went with Lexi and Nick. You guys have been doing great jobs with the Mental Health Committee, with the Sustainability Committee. You've been very present and very active during Senate, so we wanted to appreciate you. There's Trowine. Trowine is very fast and very efficient. And he's recently stepped up to a lot of challenges that we've given him, and he's really completed those challenges, I'd say, more quickly than any other senator that I've seen of late. And last but not least, do we have any for you? We have something there, right? We have a slide for you now. There we go. All right, so we wanted to thank you guys, and that is all I have. Safe travels, guys. Thanks. All right, moving on, we do have 2 special requests tonight. So we are going to go ahead and get started with Studio Theater. So if you guys want to come up and present. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Logan Cooper. I'm one of the executive board members of Studio Theater, the student-run theater club on campus. I have a special funding request for moving lights for the Black Box Theater. If you're not aware, the Black Box Theater is a small, intimate theater in Fitz Hall on the 1st floor. It is used by the Theater, Dance, and Performance Technology program, as well as Studio Theater for our performances. What I'm requesting additional money for is 2 moving light systems, theatrical moving light systems for that space. So that will include a color source spot. This is some just technical theater mumbo jumbo. A color source spot, which is the physical light, an intelligent mirror IQ, which is a mirror which will direct the light of the theatrical light, DMX iris, which changes the diameter of the beam of the light, and a power source to power all of that. This is a big ask. Theatrical lighting is very expensive, so I'm breaking this up into probably 2 requests, 2 or 3 over different semesters. This semester, I'm requesting 2 irises, 1 IQ, and 2 power supplies, as well as cabling for this. This will be around $2,300. Studio Theater has $460 to contribute to this, and we'll be asking for $1,850 from SGA. So I'm going to get into why this is such an important issue for Studio Theater. Right now, the Black Box Theater has very limited lighting as far as theatrical lighting goes. It wasn't intentional. Originally, it didn't get very much lighting from the university. The main focus has been in Bull Theater downstairs here. So it has a very bare bones setup. And part of the mission of Studio Theater is to provide an educational and experimental environment for people interested in doing theater, in acting, and technical theater. Right now, as it is, there isn't much opportunity for our members to experiment or learn very much in technical theater, as the lighting setup currently in the Black Box Theater is essentially able to provide front lighting and in two sections. What two moving light systems would do, it would allow students to use specials. A special is a particular type of light that's different from standard lighting, such as a spotlight effect or moving light, which is one of the basic pillars of stage lighting. So it's very difficult to have a dramatic scene without being able to put a spotlight on one specific person. Currently, Studio Theater, because this is such an expensive piece, it's difficult for Studio Theater, given their current budget through Funding Week, to buy this. It would be over probably 5 or 6 semesters otherwise that we would have to purchase this in pieces, because 30 to 50% of our budget goes towards purchasing rights and scripts for shows that we put on. So only a small amount of our budget can actually be directed towards something like this. This is also not just going to benefit Studio Theater. The Black Box Theater is used by the Theater Dance and Performance Technology program, as well as just the whole general events. I know President Spina has had several events held in there. I work at Bull Theater and I run events in the Black Box Theater, and I've personally run a couple of events for President Spina as well as other administrators in that space. So we've had podiums set up for speakers in there, and there's no good way to light them. Essentially, having this would be extremely beneficial for that. It would be able to be used in main stage productions that are held over there. Currently, there is a show being developed for next semester for that space for main stage. And those lights would be able to be permanently hung up there and would be very useful for main stage productions as well. Additionally, this is something, if taken proper care of, which I've worked with the Theater Dance and Performance Technology program, that they, once I get this in place, they will help take care of these pieces of equipment even once I graduate. This is something that can last 15, 20 years if taken proper care of. So this is really an investment that can be used for several years down the line and isn't really going to go out of date. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Have you reached out to like the Department of Music or like the theater program here in terms of like possibly getting funding for this as well?
I have. Unfortunately, both programs are, especially the theater program, are focused on the main stage. So I know specifically the theater program has a very tight budget, and a lot of that goes towards their productions, and their main focus is on the money that they do have reserved for lighting is reserved for main stage, the whole theater, not necessarily Black Box. Yes.
What do you guys plan on taking this equipment over the years, like, so last as long as you want it?
So every year, so I work at Bull Theater. Every year there are 2 to 5 people from Bull Theater that work over the summer, part of a fellowship program. The first month of that 2 weeks to a month is spent cleaning and taking care of equipment. I have talked with the current technical director, Matt Evans, and he has volunteered to, given that we are allowing them to use this light, he will make sure that everything is working correctly. And in the systems that I'm buying, the things that can go wrong with them are mainly belts and motors, things that can be relatively cheaply replaced if looked at and if we know that there's a problem. So the theater program has agreed to help take care of these things. Other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I see you have the Roscoe and Apollo. These are the brands of
Yes.
these items.
Yeah.
Is there like a cheaper brand maybe possibly, like by any chance? Or are these like some of the most expensive things you can get for
Really,
this material?
There are some, but the amount you'd be saving would be greatly reducing their longevity. So you'd maybe save, say, $100, probably actually $50 on a cheaper iris, but it's probably going to be made in China with very low quality parts, or just it's going to be a no-name brand and isn't really going to hold up in the long run. These are brands that are used in the theater now. We know that these work. They will work with other systems that we currently have. So that's why I chose to go with these brands. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
I think you have one more question.
Sorry.
So, like, where else you guys can find out, like, to make some plumbings, like, we can't give you, like, the massive.
Sure. So we currently have takeovers scheduled for this semester and next semester. We have some funding events within our organization. Unfortunately, a lot of those fundraisers go towards other parts of the organization. This is a very extra part of the organization, and so I can take some money from that, but a lot of that goes towards just making sure that the organization keeps running. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next up we have the ski and snowboard club.
Good afternoon, I'm Scott Russell. I'm a member of the ski club.
And I'm Joy Fuji. I'm the president of the Ski and Snowboard Club. So we are here today asking for funding that will go towards our annual trip we take every winter. This year we all met together and planned to go to Big Sky, Montana for 3 days of skiing and snowboarding out there. So we're here today for ask for funding for our lift tickets for the trip. So currently we have 15 people going on the trip, and all the expenses that go into lift ticket and lodging and stuff, they are paying individually. So what this money will go towards is taking the price of the lift tickets and lowering it. And what this benefits us is if we lower the price of lift tickets, then we have more people go on the trip. And how that benefits us as a club is we have this set group going on the trip, and with this group we're hoping that they will be able to become closer, become more of a community we're kind of looking for with the club, and then bringing that community that these 15 people make on the trip to the rest of the club throughout the rest of the events that we are hoping to have. Thank you. Any questions?
How much money is cost for, like, one person?
The trip right now is a little over $1,000
Like, per person?
per person. Yeah.
So how does it directly benefit the rest of the members of the organization, seeing that you have like 209 members?
So we're hoping, right now the ski club, really all that it's been is going on these big annual trips, and that's really it. They don't really do much else to the club. I took over the presidency this year, so I'm just trying to figure that out a little bit. So we're hoping that by having this group go on the trip together, they'll be able to become closer, and that'll help us do more events like going to little weekend places with the bigger group of the club. And so by having this set group go on this trip, we're hoping they'll help draw in interest from the rest of the members in the club. Yeah.
Do you guys, like, you go on a trip every single weekend, that kind of thing, like to a place around here?
currently, there's nothing like that.
Like when the time comes, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like when
we're-
snow obviously starts coming down.
Yeah, so it won't be every single weekend. Right now, we're looking at 2 or 3 weekends that we'll have trips to places, Mad River and Perfect North. I don't know if you guys know those places. They're about an hour, each about an hour away from
And
here.
this is
So
like considered the big trip.
this is the
Yeah,
biggest
okay.
trip. Those are just either like little day trips or night trips to those places. Yeah. So we have about 3 or 4 people on edge right now who are trying to figure out if they can go because of the price of the trip. So we're hoping if we can get the price down, we'll get those 3 or 4 members to be able to fully commit and make that group bigger. Yeah.
If you don't get all the funding from us, what's your plan to get the rest of it?
The trip is kind of coming down to the wire. So we might try making the money up somewhere else, like a takeover or something, but really it's going to come down to those 3 or 4 people who are on the fence probably won't be able to go on the trip, and the individuals will just have to pay more. Yeah.
How did you select which members would be a part of the trip?
So we had a group of people come together and plan the trip, and then we sent it out to the entire ski and snowboard club for people who are interested, and then we had a meeting for all those people interested. We pretty much broke down all the numbers for them, said this is what's going on, and then we got a solid group to commit to the trip. Yeah. The 3 or 4 people on the fence, yeah. We have 15 saying they're going, that if the price was at full price, they would pay for that. But we have a couple people on the fence.
So you could have anywhere from 15 to 19.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. With that, Joe, would you lead us to Senate Floor?
Would love to, Brian, thank you. Jack Fisher, Cup RV, please. Or Brian, or Tyler. Whoever's feeling it. Jack's got it. Seeing as the time is 6:54, I'll call Senate Floor to order. The roll, please.
Director Smith Custer, Director Inderby,
Here.
Director Elmore, Director Savage, Senator Petros, Senator Blau, Senator Jagels,
Here.
Senator Ojeda, here, Senator Stewart, Senator Reese, Senator Trotline,
Here.
Senator Hubert,
Here.
Senator Ward, Senator Schmidt,
Here.
Senator Silva, here, Senator Sundermeyer,
Present.
Senator Baeza, Senator Osterling,
Present.
Senator Twight,
Present.
Senator Kenny, 16 voting members.
Thank you. Seeing as there are 16 voting members in attendance, the majority will be 9 and 2/3 will be 11. Any old business? I was gonna say there should be new business. Director.
Move to bring Senate Bill 1819-11 to the floor.
1811 to the floor, seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. The chair recognizes Vice President Rosati.
Okay, so as stated earlier, there are 2 special request bills today, and there will be 4 on the last meeting, and we have $6,000, or $6,012 left exactly. Studio Theater has the eligibility to receive $1,856. They claim to have money set aside for fall funding and saved up in past years. The end goal of this would be to have 2 permanent moving lights, which would be great for Studio Theater and the community as a whole, seeing that they have 90+ members. I do think that is a steep asking price for this semester for a light system upgrade, especially if they have money saved up and a little work money. And like I said, there's going to be 4 bills after today. I recommend that we give them $1,668 or $1,068.10, which would cover the bottom 3 line items and half of the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Further points or motions?
Motion to fill in blank.
Motion to fill in blank. Any seconds? All in favor say aye. All opposed. Please raise your placards with any suggested dollar amount, starting with Mr. Twig.
I'd recommend $1,440.80. That would cover the bottom 3 line items and the IQ.
Can you say that amount one more time, please?
$1,440.80.
Thank you. Further amounts? Yes, sir.
$534, as that is half of the VP's recommendation.
Further amounts? Director.
I would just like to agree with the recommendation. I think it would help a lot of different students on this campus, but not that I'm not at all. I've been to Black Box Theater once, and it was a really good production, so I think there's a lot of different that could be impacted, so I think we should get a decent amount of money.
Thank you, Director. Further amounts? Going once. Going twice. We will now move into voting procedure on the amount to appear on the bill, starting with the full eligible amount of $1,856. All in favor, please raise your placards at this time. The majority we're looking for is 9. $1,440.80. $1,000.68 or $68.10, as that is the amount to have reached majority. $1,068.10 is the amount to appear on the bill. Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am. Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am. Motion, previous question. Do we have any seconds? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Moving into voting procedure on Senate Bill 1819-11. All in favor, please raise your placards at this time. All opposed? All abstain. With a vote of 14 to 1 to 1, this bill passes. Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am. Seconds? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Director Rose, or Vice President Rose, aye.
Okay, so the skiing and snowboarding club is eligible to receive $1,600 as the maximum amount. I recommend that we give them half that, $100. They can now apply for fall funding, and this is an annual trip, so I feel like they should have known about that. 1850 was dysfunctional at the beginning of the semester, so we didn't down for that. They have 209 members. It seemed like they genuinely want to get other people involved, so I think this is definitely worthy of funding. This would be a really great trip. So I think we should just give them half the maximum eligible amount.
Thank you, Vice President. Further points or motions? Director.
That should put us a little under $5,000, like $5,950 something.
Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am.
Point of information, so can people, so you said there's like 4 applications for special request funding on the docket right now. Is there any way that number could grow? Like, could there be like 6 by the next time, like, or is that application still open?
It closes tomorrow.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Further points or motions? Yes, sir.
Motion to fill in the blank.
Motion to fill in the blank. Any seconds? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Please raise your placards with any suggested dollar amounts at this time. Yes, sir.
I'll do the VP's recommendation of 800.
Tom?
I recommend $900, $1,000, because I think like if they're gonna have like 20 people going, each average they're gonna only receive like $50 in dues. Maybe they should get more. In average.
Thank you. Further amounts? Yes, sir.
I second that for meeting us halfway on the $2,000 with ticket. Some sort of fundraising event would help them meet halfway with us.
Further amounts? Yes,
I
ma'am.
think the amount, because it's a great trip, so it's more involved, and more people will get into it. And we only have like 4
Yes. Yes, sir.
If next week or our next set meeting, we decide to go over $10,000 after the next 4 bills, we can take money from next semester's budget as well to fill in that line. And we have other money flowing around that can go towards that.
Thank you, Vice President. Further amounts? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to second the 800 amount. I think this is a really specific interest club, and this trip is like super specific to the 15 students that would be going on it, and it's not necessarily something that they're going to bring back to campus and like widely advocate for, where like the black box theater thing is something tons and tons of students will see and hear. So I just think everyone needs to keep that in mind when they're like tossing out like massive dollar amounts for something so narrow.
Thank you. Further amounts? Yes, sir.
I would just like to say that there are over 200 members, I believe, in the ski club, so I think that a lot of people might be more interested in going if they knew that there was special funding for them.
Thank you. Further amounts? Going once? Going twice. Moving to the voting procedure on the amounts that would appear on the bill. Please raise your placards in favor of the full eligible amount of $1,600. With the amount of $1,000. If you were in favor of $1,600, you would also be in favor of $1,000. Thank you. 800. 800 is the amount to have received. Majority will now move into voting procedure on the amount to appear on the bill, which is 800. Further point, well, I need a point to do that, just kidding. Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am.
Motion the previous question.
Thank you. Seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Man, I was just so excited to vote. All in favor, please raise your placards at this time. With a vote of 16 to 0 to 0, this bill passes. Further points or motions? Yes, ma'am.
Motion to rescind resolution 1819-08.
The speaker looked favorably upon a motion to table this as the director is not present. Also, or as the sponsor is not present. Also, the date for the closing of the Aim for Community Excellence Survey has been extended. And if you look on the backside under the results section, section 1, subsection A, because the survey has not concluded, we do not have the actual response rates.
And motion to table.
Thank you.
Resolution 1819-08.
Seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, this has been tabled. Further points or motions? Yes, sir.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Any seconds? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Have a wonderful Sunday.
Everyone have a good Thanksgiving.
Let's